A grieving mother visits her son's grave every day, whispering to the wind as if he could still hear her. She doesn't know that her son believed dead stands only a few steps away, hidden behind a tree. What happens when truth and love finally collide will leave you in tears. The morning sun poured softly over the hill where the small town cemetery rested, its light touching every headstone with quiet grace. Among them, a woman in her late 50s knelt before a marble gravestone that bore the name Ethan Rivers, her trembling fingers tracing each letter as tears rolled freely down her cheeks. "My boy," she whispered, her voice cracking. "It's been 2 years, but I still wake up waiting to hear your laugh." Her name was Margaret Rivers, a schoolteacher who had lost her only son in a military accident overseas, or so she'd been told. Every morning before work, she brought fresh white lilies, the same flowers she used to place on his desk on his birthdays. She never stopped talking to him, believing somehow that the wind carried her words to heaven. What she didn't know was that heaven was only a few meters away, hidden behind an oak tree, where Ethan, very much alive, stood silently watching her. Ethan had returned home just 3 days earlier, the scars on his face and body, a reminder of the explosion that had separated him from his unit. He had been listed as dead after the military could not identify the remains of another soldier. By the time he recovered in a foreign hospital, it was too late. The world believed he was gone. When he finally made his way back, he found his mother still living in their small yellow house by the river, her life shattered, her hair turned silver with grief. But Ethan couldn't bring himself to face her. Not yet. He felt like a ghost haunting the edges of her life, terrified that his sudden reappearance would destroy her fragile heart. So he watched from afar every day, hidden among the oaks near the cemetery. On that morning, Margaret spoke softly, unaware of the shadow that lingered nearby. "I hope you're safe up there, my darling. The nights are cold without you." She placed a hand over her heart, whispering, "If only I could hug you one more time." Ethan clenched his fists, tears burning in his eyes. Every instinct screamed for him to step forward, to tell her he was alive. But fear chained him. Would she forgive him for letting her believe a lie for so long? That moment of hesitation ended when another man approached the grave. A tall figure in a dark coat, carrying a bouquet of red roses. It was Captain Mason, Ethan's former commanding officer, who had come to pay his respects. Seeing him stirred both grief and anger in Ethan's heart. Mason knelt beside Margaret, his voice heavy. "He was the bravest soldier I ever led. We all miss him." Margaret managed a faint smile through her tears. "Thank you, Captain. You always said he had a good heart. He took after his father." Mason nodded solemnly, unaware that the very man they mourned was standing just beyond the trees. Ethan could no longer take it. Every word was like a knife twisting in his chest. He stepped forward slowly, the gravel crunching beneath his boots. Margaret turned at the sound, expecting perhaps another visitor. But what she saw made her freeze. For a moment, her mind couldn't accept what her eyes told her. The man standing before her was thinner, older, his face marked by scars. But those eyes, those familiar blue eyes that had once looked up at her when he was a boy, could never be mistaken. She dropped the lilies. "Ethan?" He swallowed hard, his voice shaking. "Mom, it's me." Her knees gave way, and he rushed forward to catch her. For a few seconds, neither spoke. Only tears and trembling hands. A mother's disbelief meeting a son's redemption. When she finally found her voice, it came out as a whisper. "They told me you were gone." "I almost was," he said softly. "But I fought my way back. I wanted to come home sooner, but I didn't know how. I didn't want to hurt you again." Margaret touched his face gently, her hands memorizing every scar. "You could never hurt me. You're my son. You came back. That's all that matters." Captain Mason, still in shock, took a step back, eyes wide. "Ethan, my God, it's you." The scene that followed spread through the small town within hours. A mother reunited with her son she'd mourned for years. It was the kind of miracle people only saw in films. But for Margaret, it was real. Her faith, her endless prayers, her love had brought him back. Not from heaven, but from the edge of despair. In the weeks that followed, Ethan's return became a story of healing for everyone who knew them. The townspeople, once somber whenever they passed the Rivers home, now smiled when they saw the lights on late at night, the sound of laughter echoing again. Margaret's classroom filled with new energy. She began teaching lessons about courage, resilience, and forgiveness. Ethan volunteered at the Veterans Center, helping others recover from trauma, using his pain to heal those still trapped in theirs. He told them that strength wasn't about surviving battles, it was about having someone to come home to. And every Sunday, mother and son walked together up the hill to the cemetery, not to mourn, but to leave flowers for those who never made it back. Margaret still cried sometimes, but now they were tears of gratitude, because the boy she'd lost had found his way home, not just to her arms, but to his purpose. And though the scars on his face would never fade, neither would the love that brought him back to life.